because there's no build up to it. It's literally just, and it's not the fact that the dog dies; it's the fact that the dog waits, and it's just that sad song that plays over it every day. Just this dog, because the dog doesn't know any better. It just sits outside the pizza place every day with this expectant look on its face, like he's going to show up. It's going to be great, but no.
And it's also the fact that Fry says, there's no point in bringing him back. He had his own life after I died. He forgot.
Yeah,
about
he
me.
didn't pine for me or anything like that.
It turns out that the dog's only reason for existing was him.
Yeah.
That was. I have to be honest. That was really, as
brutal,
you say,
yeah.
it was just like, oh my god, where did that come from?
Yeah,
and it was
Because this is, if I'm correct, is this the same episode where it has Fry going to a theme park and having his hands bitten off by a giant Tyrannosaurus Rex?
I'm not sure. I don't know.
But it's that type of show. It's that type of daft, ridiculous tone, and then out of nowhere suddenly you get that.
And then, do you remember there was the one as well? There was the episode of Futurama as well where Leela almost dies. She's in like a coma and he's playing the song for her, and he's crying,
where she gets stung by the
bed.
bee or something.
Yeah, and he's crying at the bedside saying, please don't die, don't leave me, sort of thing.
Yeah, but it's nice in a way because in Leela's dream, Fry is the one who died.
Yes,
and then that really just pulled at my emotions.
Yeah,
seriously, it tore me apart.
But
there's also the episode of Futurama as well with his brother, Yancey, and the 7-leaf clover.
Vaguely remembering that, yeah.
It ends up that it's because he thinks that his brother took his 7-leaf clover and became this astronaut and became super successful, but it turns out it's actually his nephew who was named after Fry.
Yes.
And then the episode ends with his grave, and it ends with "Don't You Forget About Me" playing.
That's right.
And there's one of those ones where it's like wipes manly tear away from cheek.
Yeah, it's the proof of the whole thing as well that sometimes the best sorrow comes from comedy.
Yeah,
because like shows like we talk about Scrubs. So many episodes of Scrubs where at the end. There was a gulp, like there was a bit of a wow.
But that's especially good because again, you're not expecting it. You're expecting to sit down like for the likes of Futurama or the Scrubs. You're sitting down to watch a stupid little half-hour comedy where just madness happens, and then out of nowhere you get actual serious human drama. You get real emotions.
Yeah, I remember taking my son to see Up whenever it came out first. I think he was only about 3 or 4, and we went to see it. And afterwards, I said to him, "Did you like it?" And he said, "Yeah, it was very funny." But I feel really sad for some reason. And he couldn't quite explain why. But, Up was like that. Up had that sort of...
melancholy about it.
Yeah. And I thought it was interesting that even though he didn't understand why he was sad, he knew
there was sad stuff happened in it.
Stuff in the movie. But yeah, no, it is interesting that things like Scrubs, things like Futurama are the ones that pop up, are the ones that really got people. So we'll be interested to see where that goes next week. Right, I think we've pretty much... We've shot our boat here, have we?
Well, speak for yourself, too.
Moving on. I think we've pretty much covered everything. Anything? Did we miss anything? Anything you want to throw?
I don't think so. The Simpsons have been renewed for a 26th season.
Yes. Did you see?
Just let it die.
Did you see that? I still like The Simpsons. I mean, it's not as good as it was, obviously.
No.
But I still like it. I still watch it, and I chuckle now and again, and there's certain comfort in those characters. Although why Bart and Lisa haven't started getting a bit older, I'm not really sure. Yeah. But there is comfort in those characters. I can't hate it the way a lot of people seem to hate it.
No, I don't despise it.
Yeah.
But I'm just... It feels so flat now. It's like your favourite fizzy drink. You've opened it and you've left it for a while. There's no bubbles anymore.
Aye.
And it tastes like it, but there's just something off.
Okay, I like that. That's a good analogy.
It's kind of like that because I was watching an episode from season 25 2 nights ago, and it had that sense about it. It was the show, but there's something very crisp and clean about it now, possibly because it is in HD and all that nonsense. It's digital, but I don't know. I prefer my Simpsons, around season 7, season 8, where it was still classic Super, and it was still. There was something quite grungy about it when you watched it, just with the animation and so forth. I don't know what it is about The Simpsons now, but it feels so flat.
Okay, I'm one of these people that I like the digitally cleaned up version of Blade Runner. I like the albums on CD so you don't get that crackle. I'm one of these people, and I like I like how The Simpsons looks now. I like that it's clean. Well, I remember when I went to see the movie, because I hadn't really watched it in a few years, so, I went to see The Simpsons movie and I thought that looks so crisp and so clean, and I really liked it. I actually thought
I think it's got to a point now where it's too crisp.
Okay.
I think it's too perfect now. And you do that whole thing in your brain where if you see something that's too perfect, it feels weird.
No.
I don't know, like there's scientists. Ask a scientist the next time you see one walking down the street. Like there is, I don't know what it is, but if you see something that's too perfect, just instantly your brain thinks that's wrong.
It's the uncanny valley, isn't it?
It's like when you see somebody that's too beautiful. If you see like an image of a perfect woman or something, and you look at her and you go, "There's something off about you."
Okay.
Even though you're so perfect, it's something like that. I don't know, but long story short, I just think The Simpsons looks too good now. I think it's too good.
Did you see the credits for this most recent...
The Guillermo del Toro?
The Guillermo del Toro, yes.
Yeah. Oh, they were cracking,
they were great, weren't they?
I love those.
They were so good. But see, that's why The Simpsons is still magic, because it can still pull stuff like that out of the hat. No other series could get Guillermo del Toro to do an introduction to the episode like that. No other series has that sort of punch. The Simpsons has that. It can still get the stars, it can still get the surprises, it can still get the... and I know it gets a wee bit desperate now, because, they did the crossover of Futurama, they did a crossover of Family Guy, and I know people are like, oh, really? It still has that comedy. It still has those great characters. The thing that I love about The Simpsons is more than any other cartoon, it's a real world. It has so many characters, and it still has.
Do you know?
It's not as smart as it was.
Yeah, no. I really love my Simpsons box sets, and I'm eagerly awaiting season 16 being released this December. But I love my Simpsons box sets because every night, before I go to sleep, I'll put a disc in and I'll listen to the audio commentary. And in the audio commentary, it's very interesting, but Matt Groening has been talking about, for years now, there was an idea to do Tales from Springfield, which was a spin-off from The Simpsons, set in the same universe, but didn't focus on the family.
Right, like Bad Cops, like the episode Bad Cops, kind of.
Yeah, so it would kind of be like an episode focuses on Apu, an episode focuses on Chief Wiggum and his family, an episode focuses on Skinner and his mum. And it could either be one episode just devoted to that one character, or it could be an episode in 3 parts. So the first part is about one character, the second part's about another, there's about another. And then there was an idea about doing episodes of young Homer. So Homer as a kid, with obviously Grandpa as the dad, Granddad, and obviously his mum would still be around and stuff. There's talk of doing Tales from Springfield, which would be about young Homer and young Marge together, because there's obviously a big gap between whenever they met in high school and when they had the kids and moved to Springfield.
But there's been not many flashbacks. We've sort of had all that, haven't we?
Yeah, but apparently there's still stories to be told there.
Yeah.
According to Mark Groening, anyway. So I want to see that.
Okay.
Give us that, because
I don't want to see that.
Really? Why?
I hate flashback things. I don't like. For example, I was talking to some of the ones in work about the Dark Tower books. I'm a big fan of Stephen King's Dark Tower books. But there's a book called Wizard and Glass, which a lot of people think is their favourite. I don't like it. It's the one that goes back and tells the story before you knew the characters.
Right.
And I'm like, I don't care. I don't care enough. I met them at this point. I'm really only interested from this point on. Whenever The Simpsons does the flashback stuff, and I enjoy it, and it's fine. I don't think I want to watch an episode of that.
There is one Simpsons flashback episode that I hate because it messes with continuity. In the sense that, originally Homer and Marge went to high school in 1978. In this new retelling, I forget the name of it, but it's such an obvious title. But it's almost like Homer's Kurt Cobain.
Right.
I think it's called That 90s Show. Okay. And it kind of... It almost resets it in a way, because obviously, as you've said, The Simpsons have gone on now for 26 years and the characters haven't aged.
Yeah.
So obviously Bart has a mobile phone. Why does he have a mobile phone if he was born in 1980 and he's a 10-year-old? So it was trying to reset the formula in that sense. So Homer and Marge were they met in the 90s and stuff. And it didn't work. It was horrible.
Yeah.
But would you like the idea of like Tales of Springfield, where it's an episode just solely based around the Pooh and the Quickie Mart?
Yes, I would rather watch that than a flashback episode.
Because I was talking to you a couple of weeks ago now about 22 short films about Springfield, which was the episode that's kind of like the Pulp Fiction episode,
Yes.
where it's kind of, you know, it isn't based entirely around the family. Like, you know, it'll go off and tell another story and tell another story. That's the episode that got them thinking about Tales from Springfield and doing that as a spin-off. But obviously that came out in, 1996, 1997. Here we are in 2013 and still no word on a Simpsons spin-off.
Yeah. I mean, if there's one series that can do it, it's The Simpsons.
Yeah,
because
easily.
It has such a wealth of characters. And, you know, it's like Star Wars in that way, because everybody has a favourite character. Mr. Burns is my favourite character.
Yeah.
You know, and, you know, you'll talk to people and they go, oh, I love Bumblebee Man, or Ned Flanders is amazing, or Apu's class.
Yeah.
You know, and there's so few people. Everybody go, yeah, Homer's great, but Homer's obviously great.
Yeah.
It's the supporting characters that you really love, you know. Mr. Burns is the Boba Fett of the series, you know, and it's just, but I love that. I love that idea, you know, that a lot of people can identify with the characters that aren't part of that family.
Yeah. No, I love Comic Book Guy.
Yeah, Comic Book Guy is great.
He's such the epitome of a background character, and that like, you know, you can't really put much focus on him because there's not really much of a story to tell there. But I love him as a character. I mean, like, there's the episode where Bart sells his soul and he starts banging his head on the desk, and Comic Book Guy has that great line where it's like, excuse me, no banging your head on the display case, please. It contains a very rare Mary Worth, where she advised a dear friend to commit suicide. Thank you. I love that.
Yeah, funny. See that episode, right? That to me that's my favorite episode of Simpsons. And I say that now, but I can barely remember it. But I know it's a great episode. And it tackles, to me, that episode sums up, and I don't talk much about this sort of thing, but to me that episode sums up faith. Anybody that wants to know what faith is, watch that episode.
Yeah.
Because it's The Simpsons laying it all out. Exactly. It's perfect. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
And it's so smart. And that episode, that's an incredible episode. Yeah.
Do you know that's based on a true story?
Okay.
One of the writers, I think it was David Merkin, possibly. No, it wasn't. It was somebody else whose name I've forgotten now. But it's based on a true story of one of the writers or producers from The Simpsons. Whenever he was a kid, he convinced a guy to sell him a soul. So it's just like in the Simpsons episode, he wrote, Steven's soul, wrote that on a piece of paper, gave it to him. The guy gave him $20 or whatever it was. And then he came back to him and said, like, look, I'm actually kind of freaked out now. I want my soul back. And the writer, whoever it was who worked on The Simpsons, said, like the whole way throughout the week, he would get all his friends to say, oh, hey, man, there's something different about you. Oh, hey, man, that's a bit weird. You know, and really freak him out. So whenever he came back to the guy who he'd sold the soul to, he said, look, I really need my soul back. And the guy said, just like Milhouse in the episode, he goes, yeah, $50. And he tried to get another guy to do that. And then he kind of freaked himself out a little bit because he realized that the only other person who makes money off trying to take people's souls is the devil.
Yeah.
So he really freaked himself out and stopped doing that.
Yeah. No, it's a great episode. And it's funny, it's the theme that The Simpsons dealt with a few times, because even in Treehouse of Horror 3, whenever Homer sells his soul for the
donut, yeah.
And, you know, the devil comes to collect us, so of course the devil's Ned Flanders, and then he says, as long as I don't eat this last piece of donut, you can't get it. And then at the end it turns out that he had written on a piece of paper on their wedding day, I have nothing to give you, Marge, but my soul.
But my soul, yeah.
And they say, well, you know, obviously, so it's an idea, it's a theme that ran through there. Watch it because it's smart, it's sharp.
It's so weird because for me, one of my all-time favorite episodes, again, deals with faith. It deals with religion. It's I've forgotten the name of it, which is always good. Homer the Heretic, possibly.
The one where the house burns out.
Yeah,
or burns out. That's unbelievable.
That's
episode.
One of my favorite episodes of all time because it spoke to me about faith so much.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because here we are talking on Shine FM about faith. It's all full circle, but it just spoke to me about it so much because of Homer's relationship to God and everything, and like the line where he says something like I'm not a bad guy, you know, I pay my taxes, blah blah blah. So why should I spend every Sunday hearing about how I'm going to hell?
Yeah. And of course, where Flanders comes out and he throws him out the window. It still makes me laugh. He throws him out the window. He goes, ah! And he bounces back into the house.
Yeah,
and then
just like, and Flanders jumps onto the mattress and bounces back into the house as well.
And he ducks and rolls.
Yeah,
it's an amazing episode.
It's the fact that he takes so long to fall as well, because like when he ducks and rolls, it's like time slows down as he goes through the window.
Yeah,
it's so stupid.
Do you remember the episode where Homer stole the car? No, he's trying to get rid of the car from Moe, I think it was.
Yeah,
and he was driving it down the hill. And he jumps out
and he rolls back into the car.
Unbelievable. The same gag done twice.
Yeah.
But still good. So I see. I mean, The Simpsons doesn't have that anymore, but it's still funny. It's still good.
Yeah.
I still like it.
Because obviously back in the day, The Simpsons had stories to tell. Now it was like, what are we going to do?
Yeah, there's probably a certain amount of, we really should have ended this 5 years ago, but the studio keep throwing money at us. They keep expecting things. They want to sell toys. They want to sell lunchboxes. They want to, and there's only so many.